Hey, I believe I'm live now. Unfortunately, let's see. Let's go into a big screen. Ah, there we are. Hi. Um, I hope you're there. If you're not, I am. Um, I don't really know how this works, but I'm sure this learning curve will happen. My name is Esther, and I'm here because I make art, and I have made art for the past 30 years. Oh, I'm supposed to stall. I'm supposed to stall so people can come in and um, be here. So if you're here, great. And if you're not here, you'll find out later what you missed because you won't miss it because this is recorded. So, yes, I'm Esther. I'm presenting a piece of art. Okay, I'm Esther. And I am from the States, but I've lived in Europe for the last, a long time, a long time. During all that time, let's see, I lived in Prague for a couple of years. I hitchhiked all over Europe, and I've lived in Paris for a long time. And during all that time, regardless of jobs or housewifing or any other dodgy stuff I got into, I was always making art. Hi Laura. Um, I was always making art. And it's what I studied, and that's what hey Rocky, and that's what I did. I made work, I made art, and I still am. I have worked in a variety of methods. I have done sculpture, installations, collage. I've had it on my back as a backpack, in my backpack, curled up in tubes. Um, And currently, for gosh, the last 10, 15, 20 years, I'm using a type of work that you may have seen, a little intricate. Oh, kind of like that. Okay, let me do that. There, that is intricate work that you may have seen. You can find it on my website, esthershara.com. Plenty of work. So yes, I also worked figuratively. I worked meaning from the figure, from the nude model, drawing from the nude model. I think that's wonderful. I think we should all do that. We should all pose. We should all draw from the nude model. Um, this is still a little bit of a stall to see who comes in. Oh, Rachel Landau. So anyway, I recently did an inventory of my work and discovered that I have a lot. And you're not going to know that because it's here. But it's there, and I realized that to give it value, I wanted to share it and speak about it because otherwise it's like a pretty picture. It's a pretty picture hidden in a drawer. Um, and so this inventory is it's like it's I want to explain the path of creativity or try to get a fragment of what creativity is or what creative impulses there has been just so that you can get a relationship or an appreciation, a value, whatever you want to call it. So I have selected to do once a week about 5 minutes and talk about one piece of work that I have. And I had selected this week a drawing from a show that I was in 2014, Patterns. It was, oh, yes, let me tell you the reason I have decided to do a drawing. If you've ever read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, as a lot of us have read at least some of it, there was a part in it where the creative writing teacher used a technique. And he said, if you're going to write about a town, describe a brick. So it's just too amorphous, too vast, too big to write about the whole town, the people, the trees, the streets. So take one wall on one street and take one brick from that wall and focus on that within this technique. And that's of the 1.5 billion things that stuck with me, that stuck with me. So I thought, I don't have 1.5 billion pieces, but I have enough that I could select one occasionally and talk about it a little bit to get into the, oh, thanks, Lauren, to get into the, blushing, to get into what it is, because creativity is, God knows what it is. I have no idea why I'm doing what I do. So let's try to figure it out. And here is the piece that I selected this week. Randomly, although I'm guessing something subconsciously thought it was a good idea. So within this piece, we see something I work with a lot. It's like a chain link DNA element. It's like knitting DNA. It's two-dimensional knitting. It's interconnection. So I'm going to keep it up and speak. So it originally was for a show called Patterns. And patterns interested me because obviously I like repetition. I like something happening over and over. But the show was called Patterns because it was actually a pop-up clothing boutique. Jerome Levillier and Mette Peterson. And Mette invited me as part of her curated art show within the space to make something. And I was very inspired to use dressing patterns. I'm very confused, the camera's backwards. So I wanted to use the dressing pattern because there's a transparency. You can make layers. You can see what's surfacing, what's coming up, what's going back. I like the transparency. I like the negative space. I like that something is unclear, but it's clear. Now, I work abstractly, as you can see. So there's a lot of metaphor in the work. It's what life is. It's what our existence is. That sounds a little bit pretentious, maybe even a lot, but I'm gonna get a little carried away. So anyways, it's patterns and dresses and space, and here we have it going, it goes off the edge, because there's also a question for me often, is it infinite or is it finite? Is there an end? Because it's a lot of times about little teeny, weeny parts making a much bigger thing that is infinite. You know, like cells in a body, or stars in the sky making a universe, or sand on a beach making, sand making a beach. And how much of it is contained and finite and how much of it is infinite. Does it matter? Are we trying to figure it out? I'm just trying to figure it out. It's much bigger than me. I mean, you look at the drawing and you see the colors. I tend to like a bit of